I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of none other than Oops, the podcast. I'm sitting with GIULIO Gallerati.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan Lynch. I'm happy to be here today. I want to take a moment with you and just think about all the things you have to look forward to. All the things that slipped away.
It's not too late.
But then you caught at the last second. Think about that today. Welcome.
Very nice lunch. Very, very nice.
I thought about doing a whole thing, but we don't need to do a whole thing.
You can do a whole thing, dude.
A little homage to the forest fires.
Would you like to? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lynch.
You wake up. The air is hot. The warmth beneath your pillow liquidates to the back of your neck. The hairs start to soak. The sweat starts to spoon its way down to the murky, skinny pockets on your body that aren't quite fat-free enough. You get out of bed, you look out the window. It must be another day without rain. But no, today's the first day in 60 days where droplets are flying against the windowsill and against the pane. And pain was felt amongst those living in the fire, living in the woods. Think about all the animals that had nowhere to go. No apartment to hide in, no car to get behind the wheel and drive away from. Fires everywhere. But then the rain put them out, and we're here at Oops, the podcast. GIULIO Gallerati, how are you?
Were there forest fires in New York? I know there was like a park fire.
There was one in Park Slope.
Well, yeah, in Prospect Park. Yeah.
The Palisades.
The air, terrible.
The Palisades in New Jersey, and then actually yesterday there was an apartment building fire in Lower Manhattan.
And this is all, well, maybe not the apartment fire, but the forest stuff was all because of like a little bit of a drought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big drought. I don't know the stat, but like the longest one in a long time.
Wow. I was wondering, because Hill Dog walked to work today and she's like, I need an umbrella. And I'm realizing I haven't needed one in a while. And then I mentioned that to you. So
yeah.
Welcome. The rains are welcome, Lynch.
Yeah. I was looking forward to the rain until I was biking over here today. And then I thought to myself, I could go for another drought. Because like in LA doesn't rain like that.
Even when it does, it's like mist. You know what I mean? Like even like Seattle, like sometimes that rain is just like very approachable. When it rains in New York, it rains, dude.
Yeah.
Dumps.
It rains when you really need it to not be raining.
Yes.
So.
And it'll rain in that way where like, even if you have an umbrella, if you go outside and attempt to walk for 5 seconds, you're done.
Yeah.
You
need to work. Like just like having a friend, like having your best friend pull through for you, needing them to pull through for you, but hanging on to them because they don't ever pull through for you, but you hang on to them because you hope that they do. And they just keep letting you down. And they just keep letting you down. And you did not learn your lesson because you keep reaching back out to hang out with them again. You did not learn your lesson. It's like that.
That is exactly what it's like.
It is exactly like that.
Young Lynch.
Yeah. These are my thoughts right now.
Well, this is very nice, Ryan. Very reflective. Welcome back to the show. We're here. We're doing it up. We're doing it big. I thought of something, dude, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say. So it's been brought to my attention that, in theory, when you go to a wedding or you go to some gathering or whatever, there's a chance that you're going to see people who you're not going to see again, or you're not going to, that you don't see often. And maybe you'll see them again, but like, it's unlikely that you don't bump into them a lot, so you don't think about it. But then there you are, and here you are. Now, that may not matter in any capacity, but it can. And here are some examples of how it might. Now, for me, like I sort of know how I approach it. I don't really have like bad blood with anybody who I've had history with or who I've dated or anything. But sometimes you go to these things and it can be weird. So like a friend of mine who was at my wedding, saw somebody who he had a thing with. That person is married, was there with their husband or wife. And it was acknowledged that the two kind of never made eye contact the whole night. And if there was an opportunity to maybe go in for a hello, where the person who told me this story kind of thought that perhaps there would be, it turned out that the other party was not willing to entertain such a thing. They were with their husband or wife, and they did not want to engage with any of these past people. And this is not like a person that one dated. So like maybe it was one or two times or one time, and they were just trying to move on with their life. Maybe they felt awkward. I don't know what it was, but what is the move? Is there a move? Is it to each their own? Like what do we think, Lynch?
I think that everybody should be able to be amicable, especially if it's a short-term thing. But I do think it's a la carte.
Yeah, right.
Like
each situation's different.
So let's say, I don't know who's who, it's guy, girl?
Sure.
Okay. Just the person with the family, I feel like they would be...
They're both married. Both these people are married.
Okay.
Neither of them have children.
Yeah, I think both of them are just in fear of just like something slipping.
Awkward.
As long as they weren't doing it with each other while they were in serious relationships.
No.
No reason to believe that, then I think it's just an in your head thing.
Yeah, and to your point about the a la carte, like there's some different things at play. Like let's say, for the sake of the discussion, in this situation, the person who seemed as if they didn't want to be approached, perhaps they were at a different point in their life when they had this flame with this other person, and they want it to be clear that this would not have happened today, regardless of whether or not I'm married. I want you to know that whatever happened does not reflect the person who I am now, and that you would not have had a chance with me if it were today. And therefore, I am a new person who does not even know who you are. Maybe that comes into play.
Yeah, a little bit of ego.
I don't have that really. That's not my MO. I'm sure there are people out there who think unfavorably of me for whatever reason. Maybe things didn't work out the way they wanted to. Maybe they just don't like me. Maybe, I just didn't have my best showing. Maybe I behaved in a way that wasn't representative of who I am, or maybe I said things they didn't like. Who knows? But I don't have that situation. I can't think of it. So if I were to run into any person who I had had history with, I would be very excited to see them. I would hope that they would be cool with seeing me, or they would at least act like it, because it would be weird not to, or something, because I would be I'm so insistent on saying hello to these people, people that I know in general. There's not that many people that I have like a bad blood with where like I don't want to even talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can think of an example, and this is kind of funny. So no, the problem you can run into, let's say you're married and you go to this thing and this other person's there, whether they're married or not. If suddenly you end up in an isolated convo and now you're kind of reminiscent about the past, what things could have been like, beyond being like, like remembering things about you. Oh, Lynch, I know you like telling poems about forest fires. Yeah, there was just a forest fire. I think that's fine. But if you start to be like, you ever think about what it would have been like?
Right, go from there to there?
No. Let's say maybe the fires were first talked about, and now we're sitting there, me and you, Lynch, and I'm like, oh man, Lynch, you ever think about those nights?
What nights, Julia?
You know what I'm talking about, dude. You're so coy. I know it was a while ago, but I think about it. I think about it all the time, man. To be honest, what we shared.
We had fun.
And look, we're on different parts of our lives now, and like it's an afterthought, you know what I mean? But sometimes I can't help but sit there and think of, I don't know, dude, like what, like what could have been, not that it would, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, there's always a could have been, but I mean, that was years ago, Julia.
Yeah, no, it feels like it was just yesterday, Lynch, for me, but, so.
Well, how are things going for you?
Dude, everything's great, couldn't be happier. I mean, it's just amazing to grow into the adult you've always wanted to be, and to be out there. And there's challenges, of course, but to just be doing it, it just feels so rewarding. So that's great. But like, it was fun. It was fun back in the day when there was just less to think about. Our parents are getting older now. You have responsibilities. You feel more. It feels harder to pivot and make moves, and maybe that's what I miss.
Yeah. I mean, college, simpler times, and yeah, I wish nothing but the best for you. We had a lot of fun together, but
yeah.
No, I'll be honest. I don't think about it much. I'm happy with where I am today, but I mean, whenever I see you, I smile. It's always good to see you, Julia.
I haven't told anyone. I just in case like you're worried about that. I never told anyone.
That's fine.
I just want you.
I mean, I already told Anastasia about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, amazing. Then good.
Yeah, we talk about everything.
Nice. That's great.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned this. I've asked her one time if I could call her Julia. I just slipped. I was drunk.
No way. So,
Yeah.
so you do think about me.
Yeah, she actually liked it a lot.
Nice.
Are you staying at the DoubleTree this weekend for the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, do you still drink rum and coke?
Still drinking rum and coke.
Just like when we were at Jack Life's Frida College?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, let's get a drink later. I'd love for you to actually talk to Anastasia because
Yeah.
she knows about you.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a drink.
Great.
Cool.
Excellent. So, dude, Lynch employed a nice little technique, which is he didn't take the bait. I wanted to like get into the weeds. He kind of didn't want to. He then started to give me a little bit just because he wanted to be known that, I should know. But then he invited me to come do the group hang. All good, no problem. So
It's a threesome. Did you get that vibe?
I didn't get that.
Oh, I was getting.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Okay,
Oh, that's
interesting.
fun,
You
Lynch.
find out at the drink.
Wow. Okay. I'm still as dense as ever, huh, Lynch? But yeah, like that vibe starts to sort of unfold where like there'll be a person, because no one's gonna come up to you and just be like, "I want to fuck you, dude." I think about it all the time. I want to fuck. No one's gonna do that. So you have to kind of like build to it. You put out a feeler. If the feeler comes back, okay, you receive. A little feeler. And then before you know it, now you're having a very inappropriate conversation. So you have to sort of be aware of that. And there's a way to sort of honor your partner if you're there with one, honor their partner if they're there with one. If you don't give a fuck about their partner, then do you. I mean, home wrecking, I don't judge. Like if you have your MO and you want to like get this person back or you want to stir the pot, you can do that. If you don't have any, to me, it's not quote right, but if you don't have anything preventing you from doing it on your end, you have less skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so here's my example so I bumped into an ex who I sort of had things ended poorly with ultimately. Not my fault. She just kind of got weird about it. Like we were totally like in a cool spot, like friends. And then she just like made some weird moves. And like, I was like, I can't really talk to this person anymore. But over the years I bumped into her a bunch and it's fine, whatever. And even now if I see her, we'd chat and it would be fine. But, okay, we're at our friend's wedding. Hill Dog and I had just gotten engaged. And she did this thing where she was like, "Oh, I heard the news." She's like, "I heard the news." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Congratulations." I was like, Thank you. She goes, "Wasn't the worst day of my life or anything." And I was like, "Shut up, dude." Now, that sort of, maybe less so, but it kind of opens the door for me to kind of like step into inappropriate territory.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I were to be like, well, it was your fault. Like that is like not appropriate. Like I need to be completely moved on. And like, in order to be appropriate to my partner, I need to have a very hard boundary there. So we can be pleasant. We can talk, Hill and chats with her, whatever, all good. But Hill's not there during this part of the convo. And in my head, I'm like, this is your whole thing. Like woe is me. Like you have these great things and you burn them to the ground and there's nothing you can do. This is just who you are. And now here you are, sulking and in the disappointment of me being happy. And like, I'm sure there's a bunch of other people that she feels the same way about, not just me. Right. But like, it's those little moments where you can kind of be inappropriate. So I guess my answer to my own question, not that I necessarily I was looking for one, but I think that my preferred approach to this is there's no reason why you can't engage and chat with, or even just reminisce a bit with these people, but you just have to be very careful. Yeah. The stakes are very high. And before you know it, you don't even realize it. You have now sold your companion down the river for just a little bit of fun, a little bit of a thrill. And it's selfish. You shouldn't be doing it. So that's how I feel. Fight your battles. We're not all strong, but you got to try your best to do right by the people who are important.
This episode of Oops the Podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Guys, no better place to get your therapy journey started or to continue your existing therapy journey. Highly recommend. So convenient. Such a great way to approach therapy. I can do it from any smart screen, tablet, phone, computer. from the comfort of your home. Very convenient, easy to get matched with a therapist. They literally walk you through a questionnaire that helps you narrow down who they might want to recommend as a therapist for you, but it also helps you narrow down in your brain what you are looking for and what you want to get out of this experience. Therapy is a journey. There's a lot of surprises along the way. You might have shown up for one thing and realized there was something else that you needed to work on or something else you needed to talk about. It's amazing what you can uncover. And it's just a great opportunity to sit there and talk about yourself for an hour, honestly. Like, I love that. And you get to kind of do it unabashedly. You don't have to be embarrassed or shy. You can just get it all out there, and it's a great thing, especially with the holidays coming up. We know how heavy that can be sometimes. Spending time with family, spending time with your thoughts, as life kind of slows down in this vacuum between Christmas time and the new year where not much is going on. There's gonna be a lot to ponder and a lot to think about. Might as well get ahead of it. Get involved in some BetterHelp to make your holidays nice and palatable and relaxing and easy so you can enjoy time with your family and forgive them for everything they've done to you.
That's why you should find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/oops today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/oops. I'm going to tell you a story, and then you tell me how many sexy points I get. Okay? Because I was with Victoria. Big, strong man story right here.
Let's hear it.
Walking to New Jersey Transit at Penn Station with Victoria. I'm holding my cold brew. We're going to hop on a train to get dinner with my family and in New Jersey. And I'm holding my cold brew. It's in my left hand. A guy walks next to me, and he brushes against me, and his arm knocks my drink out of my hand. I'm not on my phone. I'm walking and paying attention, and I'm holding the cup firmly.
How full is it?
A little less than half.
Is it a large?
I'd say 18 ounces.
Okay.
So
Large leaning.
plenty of coffee left to drink. Knocked it to the ground. I'm shocked. I look down. He doesn't stop. He keeps going.
Coffee is completely gone.
Coffee's gone. It is known. He made
And
contact.
how do you prepare your coffee typically?
Cold brew with coconut.
How much coconut? Like how black is the coffee?
It's brown.
How brown?
Light
brown?
I'd say like the lightest chucka boot you could get at Clark's.
Okay.
Like
I got it.
not mocha.
I got it.
A little more oaky. Anyway, so that goes to the ground, and I see the guy turn, and then he keeps walking. And I'm in front of Victoria. I was just disrespected. I have to do something, but I can't overdo it. So I looked down, and I turned at him once I saw that he wasn't going to help or anything, and I said, "Thanks a lot." Thanks a lot. And I said it with venom. I said it with bark. Thanks a lot. And he turned around, didn't even look at me. Like, he turned around as if like, did I hear that? I didn't even see his face. I didn't even see his eyes. And he kept walking.
Were you still going?
No, we were heading to the train. There's so many other people around.
So it was like, thanks a lot. And then you were sort of normal again. And then he turned around.
No, when I said thanks a lot, I held position.
It came from you. Okay, so you held position.
It was directed at him.
Thanks a lot.
I held. It's like, thanks a lot. And I held, and then he did this thing, and he kept going.
Eye contact or no?
No eye contact. I never saw his eyes, but he did turn a second time.
Was he a big guy?
White guy, maybe had an inch or two on me.
Okay. Weight approximate?
I'd say probably had, just by proportionality, 10, 15 more pounds than me.
Okay.
So I pick up the cup and I throw it out, and I'm wondering if that gets any sexy points in Victoria as the partner.
Okay, so if a 10 is sexiest and 1 is the least sexy, I would give you like a 6.5.
Okay.
Which I think is good. And I don't think a 10 is fighting him.
So what would a 10 look like?
I don't know.
What would add more points?
Like maybe an exchange, which you can't really control. But in theory, if you like came hard enough at him with the, oh, thanks a lot or whatever. I'm not suggesting you should say thanks a lot better. But like maybe just insisting on getting his attention.
Maybe afterwards, like, hey, I'm talking to you.
And then acknowledging her efforts to get you to de-escalate while slowly de-escalating, but not immediately de-escalating, will get you hired. I don't know what a 10 is. And a 10 might be one of those things where the 10 wasn't even possible. The routine wasn't even challenging enough to accomplish the top score, like in gymnastics.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in this situation, your max score is like an 8.25. You're at a 6.5,
Okay. Do you think?
which is good.
Thank you. I felt good about that.
So you know what would have given you like a 2?
What?
If you had just been like, oh, and the guy went away, you didn't say fuck you to the guy, and then you were just in a bad mood directed at Victoria and complained about the guy the whole time, while also explaining what you wanted to do or that what you were going to do, and then made excuses as to why you didn't. I wasn't going to do that in front of you. That's a 2 or less.
Instant 2.
You're getting closer to 1 at this point.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Going up to the guy and trying to fight him is lower also, but higher than what I just... Being aggressive is always probably a little better than being fully passive aggressive, depending. But so if you were to like truly try to confront and fight the guy and then actually fight the guy, if you actually fight him and beat him up, there's a world where you could actually get a 10. It's just pretty impossible. Like I don't see how it would work and how like you would get away with it and it would be fine and he would not like fight you back and you wouldn't, you know what I mean? It's pretty impossible. Trying to fight him, you're going to end up in a lower score than you ended up into. 6.5, dude. I would feel really good about that.
Thanks.
Getting a 6.5 out of 8.25 in that situation, that is like you're graduating with honors.
Thank you. I thought when I came prepared to tell you that you would have, that's something that Giulio would have done.
I think so too.
Yeah, in that regard. And also, Victoria was hungry, and we needed to get a snack before we got onto the train. We didn't have that much time, and if I went and beat the shit out of the guy, she wouldn't. No matter how bad I beat him, she would be less impressed because she wasn't able to get a snack before we got on the train. So
now,
that would have docked a point.
I have an important question toward your score.
Yeah.
Did you mention that at all?
What? Any of that?
Any about if you had done more, she wouldn't have been able to eat?
No.
Good.
We moved on right away. I don't even think I brought it up with her again.
That would have gotten you into the 5.25 range.
Yeah. Then she asked you, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did say, do you want to get another coffee? I said, no, I'm over it. That's nothing. That's not a part of it.
Were you like, no, I'm over it?
I was not heated.
How'd you say it?
I was like, no, I'm good. I think I really said it like that.
That's great.
And obviously I'm like I'm trying to be accurate to the moment.
6.75.
But 6.75?
You've just gone up to 6.75.
Okay. So, we got a 6.75. And then I tweeted about it and I said, I wish something bad happened to him. So how many points?
Did she see the tweet?
No.
Then you're good.
Okay.
If she saw the tweet, it could be trouble for the score.
I feel like then
we'll have to talk to the judges in the booth in New Jersey. Classic, as they look at the review. But for now, you're good.
Okay, cool. I'll
take
a 6.5.
You chose your outlet properly, and you did great work, Lynch.
Thank you.
Well done.
I wish you were there. I hope I'm there whenever you have a moment like that.
I would have loved to commentate the same way you once commentated the ping pong match many years ago.
What was that place? That spinny.
Do you
still play ping pong?
Yeah, a bit.
A little bit.
I'm still like, I played and it was like starting to give me the symptoms for my pinched nerve. So I shied away from giving it my all. And I'm just going to hope that I can wait a couple more months and the symptoms will go away completely or I'll get surgery.
Yeah. Giulio, I feel like the Grinch wore MeUndies when he was stealing all the gifts from all the homes in Whoville. Because with how versatile the fabric is, and how comfortable he must have been spending the whole night going in chimneys, out chimneys, in chimneys, out chimneys, and all the homes had different temperature preferences. Great to think that the Grinch was probably wearing MeUndies because you need to adapt to the environment. That's what that underwear's for.
I hear I'm holding the classic black boxer brief. If the Grinch was wearing them, you might not be able to see it because it was hidden under his nice green fur. And even though you have to assume there is a chance that the Grinch might just be uniquely suited for colder temperatures, given his sort of external appearance, it doesn't mean he doesn't need MeUndies, guys.
Yeah.
And I need them too.
Yeah.
And I look forward to wearing them during the holiday season. I wear them at all times of year. They are not a seasonal underwear by any stretch of the imagination. They are an all times of year underwear. You can also get fun themed holiday versions. You can get stuff that's very basic, like the black plain boxer brief that I like to wear, or there's tons of patterns, fun stuff for him and her, for everybody. It is just a home run undergarment. It adjusts the temperature based on your body as well as based on the external climate. There is no underwear like MeUndies. I will be wearing them for the rest of my life, and I look forward to it, Lynch.
Well, that sounds great to me. Hopefully you wash them in between your wears.
Don't worry, I do.
Okay. Knock out all your holiday gifting needs today with MeUndies. To get exclusive holiday deals and savings all month long, go to MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast. Enter promo code OopsPodcast. That's MeUndies.com/OopsPodcast. Code OopsPodcast. MeUndies. Comfort from the outside in.
We were talking about the Penguin last episode a bit, and there's a couple interesting things that it reminded me of that I want to talk about. So the first thing, Colin Farrell's made this incredible transformation. You know, you can't even recognize him. I watched the movie The Batman. It's a fucking 4-hour movie. I actually watched it with Francis at 11 a.m. One of the earliest I've watched a movie like that.
Was that in Boston?
Yes,
Before?
with a buddy until Lynch and I watched Hereditary at 9:15 in the morning. May have even been earlier. But I watched the entire movie and later was like, oh, I heard Colin Farrell was so good in it. I was like, Colin Farrell's not in that. And they're like, yeah, he is. I'm like, and then I was like, and they're like, he's the Penguin. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy. So incredible, right? But one thing that's interesting, like Colin Farrell doesn't look like that in any way. Now, in real life, like he does the thing with the moving properly because the Penguin looks like he had polio or something. He has this sort of like leg that requires a metal bracket that he can't use properly. It's unclear. Maybe we'll find out in season 2 if he was injured in some way or he's born that way or whatever. So he's great there, but occasionally the camera doesn't do a good enough job at hiding his body. So there'll be shots where the Penguin's body looks too normal, where he looks skinny and normal. And it might not be obviously noticeable, but that character isn't supposed to look like that. That character's overweight, like not in shape, and he's scrappy and he's determined. He has that Donald Trump energy where somehow like the guy has the energy of a guy 20 years younger than him. In Trump's case, 40 years younger than him. You know what I mean? So, and he's a bigger guy. So like occasionally, and maybe you'll notice this, they'll catch him at an angle where he looks like this guy with a much lower body mass index or whatever. That
Interesting.
Yeah.
That went over my head so far.
So that's one.
Yeah.
Number 2, Hillary asked this question, and I think this is a fun discussion. She goes, why would you even cast Colin Farrell as this guy? Why wouldn't you just get a guy who looks like the guy? How does Colin Farrell get this role? And this is the answer. The only time, it took me a long time to understand this as an actor also. If you want to be the guy who's transforming and being all these different, like he transformed for the role, people love that. They talk about the routine. They interview him on Entertainment Tonight. And he's like, just a cigarette and an apple every day for 30 days. Whatever the thing was. People love that. You only can get away with that if you're a star. Because otherwise, to Hillary's point, you just get a person who fits the part. You can be such a great actor and you can walk in and talk like this and talk like that. And you can talk like another guy. But guess what? You're talking like another guy who auditioned for the part. And that guy is just better for it than you are. Mm-hmm. And no one cares that you've done this transformation. They just want the best guy for the part. So the way that Colin Farrell gets that is by being an A-list actor. Somehow that conversation happens where maybe he knows the director, or maybe they're like, we're thinking about who we should do for this. Like somehow that happens where they're like, wouldn't it be crazy to get so-and-so to do so-and-so, and then he'll be the thing, and that like adds to the whole allure. And then this actor gets to kind of show off their range or whatever, but you don't get to do that in a less important part. You get rewarded more for like being true to kind of like what your personality allows in traditional film and movies from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's exceptions, but does that make sense?
Yeah, that does check out. I know I mentioned this to you earlier. Fahim Anwar has a whole joke about like how like you go in, you look just like what the Penguin is supposed to look like, and then this hot, handsome, is he British or is he Irish?
He's Irish.
This Irish guy comes and he's like, "Oh, I'm here for the Penguin. To audition. Is this where the audition is?" Yeah, I want to. It looks, besides what you just pointed out, the continuity error or whatever, his face looks so bad that it kind of goes over the line of like, I've never seen a human being like that before.
Right.
The scars like on his lip, and yeah, just like you said, how mobile he is, regardless of if there's scenes where he looks fatter than he does in others. Like he's very fast, and I don't think anybody that size would be that fast.
Yeah, right. But I agreed. They do pull it off. And to Fahim's point, that is funny. But yeah, I don't think that Colin Farrell was auditioning.
Yeah.
And if he was, maybe it was like they were considering one or two people, and they just ended up going with him. It's not like you or I could have auditioned for that part.
Yeah.
And you do hear that story from time to time, but that's not what happened there. There's no way.
It's just so interesting that, like, I want to know was it Matt Reeves that thought of him? Like, I want to know how his name first got brought up.
Is that the director?
He directed Batman. So first.
So has he directed other stuff that Colin Farrell's been in? Do you know?
I don't know.
That's
like,
worth looking into.
So like that, yeah. Like were they dicking around on set and like he was just doing a Soprano impression and then Matt Reeves like made note of that? Because
yeah, and I try to occasionally like look for any sort of hints that it's not that guy being, and like they just, and granted, you get to do a bunch of takes when there's a movie, so they obviously like pick all the ones that keep the continuity, but like it's really hard to find a chink in the armor. Like even when you find out that an actor is not American and you hear them speaking with an American accent, sometimes you can kind of hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen here.
Yeah, so I don't know. The internet won't tell me.
Well, all good, but
Hollywood
very, very
secret.
interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. We love it all. And here we are.
So we went out to dinner that Sunday night after the coffee cup situation. And some of these small Italian restaurants, like these family-owned restaurants, they have service staff that are standing in the dining room with you, and they're just standing there idling at all times. And I do think that it's a little redundant that they're there.
I've had this gripe on the pod before too.
Yeah. Yes. I think
There's a guy just standing over my shoulder.
Yes. So there were three guys in this. It's basically a house converted into a small Italian restaurant. This is in New Jersey. Okay. But the one that I worked at, we had to do that too, and I was always uncomfortable being the person doing it.
They want a man to man the floor.
Yeah, and the people there were like one person per wall, and we were like the only family in this room because it was just late.
Sounds like a great restaurant, by the way. It's cool.
It is a cool restaurant, and the food's really good. But we didn't like reserve the room. We didn't ask for that. It's not a private event. It's just dinner. We happened to be the only table in that room, and it just like. It was just uncomfortable feeling like we could have like a conversation with each other about whatever we want to talk about because it really looked like they were actively listening. And that's just something in restaurants I wish there was not as much of.
Yeah, it can be annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we don't need so many people on call. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, let my water go down to the bottom.
Yeah.
I once went to dinner with my friend's parents in Boston, and this like freaked me out a bit. I thought it was an overreaction, but the waiter kept refilling the soda. And the dude's mom was like, stop doing that. She's like, what? Like, and these people are like foreign. So like, they're just not used to the American excess, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I will let you know when I want more soda. Stop filling my soda. And I was like, oh, fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had people snap at me like that before when I was working at my restaurant. And I would go back to my boss and I'd be like, hey, they said they don't want anything. He's like, there should always be X, Y, or Z on the table. Like, you always need to be asking if they're okay. And you don't.
Yeah.
You just leave them the fuck alone. Clear their plate. One time I cleared a plate too early. They had some rule like clear the ladies' plates first. And there were 3 women eating their salads. And then there was one guy that had like a pasta dish. And he was done and he made a mess and it was splattered. And I grabbed his pasta dish away. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We have ladies that are still eating here. And it became a thing. And then my boss came over. He's like, hey, he's just a kid.
Ryan, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
Yeah, don't
Get
do
back in
that
the
again.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually agree with that guy. Like, you didn't know any better, and that's normal. But, like, I hate when I'm done eating and the person that I'm with is not, and they take my plate. I stop them. I say, I'm still working. Even though there's nothing there. They look at me. They're like, no, you're not. Like, what are you intending to do? I'm like, I leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't go, hey, there's ladies eating here still.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's totally
Lynch.
fair. It's totally fair. I'm sure there'll be a day where I'm having my grievances with the wait staff now.
Yeah. Sure.
My boss's biggest, like the thing that he would come into the back kitchen and just get so pissed off about was when people asked for more bread during dinner.
It's a big G move.
I love asking. I'll ask for more bread as much as we can.
Bro, this is one of your pillars
of
2024 going into 2025. What has happened to the bread?
Yeah, where's the
Where's
bread?
the free bread?
Seriously, like I ask, especially when it's free, I want some more, and it's good. And sometimes they have these fun olive oil, olive tapenade dips,
Pucha.
butter. Like you never know what you're gonna get, and that's what's fun about it. And so you want a little more bread.
Do you know what pucha is?
No.
Pucha is when you dip the bread into the whatever sauce remains, whether it's tomato sauce or olive oil. Pucha.
That's the act of doing that?
Yes, it's my dad's dialect. There's all these like onomatopoeia things that like sound like the thing. So pucha sounds like dipping.
Pucha.
Pucha.
So are you pucha-ing? Pooching? Or is pucha just the
It is the act of
ceremony?
pucha. There may be a way to like, there may be like a tense change. You can maybe make it a verb or something. It's unclear.
Interesting. I'll look into it.
He has all these table terms. So like it describes different phenomenons that happen at the table. So for example, sbrizlar, that is a mess made with crumbs. So a sbrizladur is a guy who gets crumbs on him.
Oh.
So like this is my dad's dialect. This is like if it doesn't sound like Italian, it like his dialect like doesn't sound like Italian. But there's another one called unas gudlon. That is the act of rolling a boulder down a hill.
The act. Like that needs a word.
Another one's burdach,
What
which
is
is
that?
a splashy mess.
A splashy mess.
And a zburdachong is like man who creates a splashy mess, or they who create a splashy mess.
How does he know these particular words? It sounds like
It's
he
his
knows.
dialect. It's
He
from
knows.
his dialect.
Yeah.
He speaks the dialect. My parents both spoke dialect first before they even spoke regular Italian, and their dialects are very different. So they would never have spoken their dialects to each other, and they both speak Italian also. But like that is part of why they never spoke Italian in the household, and part of the reason why I don't speak Italian.
Yeah. Those are good slang terms.
They're good. They're good little ones. And
Yeah.
my dad always loves, if I ever, like God forbid, I don't intend to ever remarry, but if I ever remarry, my future second wife, which I don't intend to have, if you want to win my dad's heart, learn his little dialect words. Hillary knows them. He loves it. And
Julia, what are you doing?
oh, dude, I'm just looking at this weighted emotional support sloth.
Ah. That's pretty uncommon.
I don't know who I'm going to get it for, but I know it's the right gift for somebody.
Yeah.
Dude, as I'm like doing my gift giving, it's funny. As the year goes on, like if I find something that's just absolutely perfect, I have an ongoing list of everybody that I need to buy gifts for, and I'll just like start banging them out throughout the year. So occasionally, even just like during the regular season, I will be checking out Uncommon Goods to see what's on here, because there's always a hilarious abundance of different amazing gifts that will definitely work for somebody specific that you love in your life.
Yeah. All right. Julia, close your ears for a second. Okay. Guys, there's the perfect gift for Giulio on the website. The National Parks Family Scavenger Hunt book. Shh, maybe you get it for Giulio. These are the kinds of gifts that you can get for people. Custom, personalized, filled with love. Let them know that you love them, whoever it is. Grandpa, grandma, son, daughter, niece, nephew, mom, dad, brother, sister, your boss. Everything is for anybody on this site. Get a unique, uncommon gift this holiday season. To get
Wait, Lynch, what about this one? I got to throw this in there before you do the call to action here. How do you feel about kitten mittens?
I feel like if people like kittens, they would love the mittens.
They are mittens with kittens on them. And even though there's a little heart right where the fingernail area is.
Can't find that anywhere, Julia.
Sure can't, Lynch.
So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/oops. That's uncommongoods.com/oops for 15% off. Don't miss out this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. You want to do the email that we have?
I do, but I want to talk about something first.
Yeah.
So I'm going full steam ahead, dude, with the video shit. I know we were kind of talking about it. I was on the fence. I think the national park video is going to be really fun, and I'm planning to do one. So I'm shooting one in December. I'm shooting another one in January. And then I'm going to start, I'll have a kind of enough of a runway to start planning my next international one, which I'll probably be due in the spring at some point, if it isn't part of this other thing that I'm working on. So I'm excited. And I think one thing that'll be fun for the national parks is to have sort of a companion, either a regionally based companion or just a pal. So we got to get you on one of these days. If we can keep up the schedule,
I'd love to come.
Bring Lynch into the bush. So that's that. And I guess we'll read this email.
Keep sending the emails to us,
They're great.
oopsthepodcast@gmail.com.
We love them. Okay, this one's called Wedding Efficient Concept. And this is particularly, and Lynch, thanks for reminding me that we have these. But this is a particularly kind of relevant one, given that I have just Exchange my vows with she whom I love.
She.
There we go. Good morning, G and Lynch. Does everybody call you Lynch in your life?
No.
I love that this has become your little nickname, Lynch.
Yeah.
I think my mom may have started it, dude.
I think your dad did.
My dad started. Oh, you're right. My
Maybe.
dad started. Fucking Lynch, man. Shout out to Big G.
It's an honor to have it.
Who, by the way, was still being called Big G by everybody at the wedding.
Yeah.
The rebrand may not happen. I think he even referred to himself as Big G during his speech, which was a great speech. Good morning, G and Lynch. I've been a fan of Oops since the beginning. Thank you very much. I've always enjoyed listening to you boys discuss all things weddings and engagement. Lynch recently mentioned that he too is now a wedding officiant. With my own wedding on the horizon, I thought of an idea that would be fun to discuss on the pod. How would you feel about officiating a wedding where A, you get to say whatever you want during the ceremony? I mean, literally anything. You'd have full creative and comedic freedom. And B, get to wear any outfit of your choosing. You could show up in an inflatable costume, BDSM wear, little, young, big, there are no rules. My man and I are both huge comedy fans and are known for being generally silly and not taking ourselves too seriously. You could talk about Hitler while wearing a little Bo Peep outfit, and somehow it would be the perfect way for us to enter into this new chapter of our lives. Love you guys and everything you do. Let's see what this is here. There's a PS, which I might as well just read before we get into the meat and potatoes here. I've heard y'all talk about mining and the mines on several occasions. I'm a mining engineer working at the biggest potash mine, I think I said that right, in the world. You'd be and would be thrilled to answer any questions you have and take you on an underground tour. And this is happening in Saskatchewan. Noted. Careful what you wish for. Next time we're up there, we might just take you up on that. Okay, so the efficient question is a good one. So how would I feel about this? I wouldn't feel good about it for me. But I think that is the key here, is what is right for you. So at our wedding, there was a lot of family. There was a lot of whatever. And that may not matter. You know what I mean? I don't think Hill Dog would have liked it to be over the top silly necessarily. I was certainly funny during my vows, Lynch, I'm sure, as you recall. I had some good zingers in there. But I was definitely still very serious and like, it was very romantic and blah, 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 blah. So for us, that like made a lot of sense. Also, given the venue we were in, like all this stuff, it would have been weird for me to show up in a dress, or it would have been weird for the officiant, who is a woman, to arrive dressed like Kirby and, you know, talk about nonsense. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have worked for us. Is there a world where it works? Sure. And if that's what, I would say this, and maybe you don't have to do this. Maybe you're surrounded by all like-minded people and you can do whatever you want and it won't matter. But it would maybe make sense to just set everyone's expectations, because when it comes to like quote inside jokes like that, it can be hard if people don't have a frame of reference, and then it can just be uncomfortable and people won't know what's going on. So you'd hate for your big gag for no one to laugh at it and it to be awkward. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you can kind of set the expectations of the audience, be like, our wedding ceremony, May 2025, officiated by John, who's going to be dressed like Mussolini and speaking Spanish, and we don't know what he's going to say. And we've encouraged him to say the craziest possible thing. I think that would maybe be forthcoming. Mm-hmm. That's my thought. What do you think, Lynch?
I just think, as much as I love attention, like, the wedding's not about me. And if
the officiant, right?
As the officiant. And if you do that, you make it all about you. Unless everyone's wearing silly costumes.
That's a good point.
Everyone's wearing silly costumes. Unless grandma knows what's going on.
Cosplay wedding.
Yeah, if it's a and that's
furries.
And like, yeah, if everyone's wearing their tails, like, yes, but like, I would like, I've thought long and hard about some of the things that I'm going to do, and it's going to be treating it very seriously. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be meeting with them, and I'll find out what vibe they want. But at the very most, maybe a splash of silly, but primarily intimate and caring, and something that everybody, no matter how well they know them, can lock in, tune into, understand, and appreciate to some degree. I think about like some of the things that our emailer mentioned, like wearing a BDSM ball gag, inflatable suit, and saying whatever you want. If you want to talk about Hitler and things like that, if I were to do that, the amount of context that you would need to give everybody attending the wedding before going up on stage to do that already makes it so uncomfortable. And
Right.
it's just not going to happen. I will not do that. As silly
Start roasting the
as I love to be.
audience.
Yeah, it's
You're
just
like, what's up, losers? You turn into Dick's Last Resort.
yeah.
Oh, look at this fucking slob.
Yeah. It would be the same reaction. Remember I think you should leave sketch to the pointers?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
everyone sit down. No, the way
God, I gotta start over again.
stop. No. Everyone hands up. Okay. They I think about the scene in Black Mirror, the nosedive episode with the social media points
I haven't seen
that
it.
you get.
Oh, I have seen it actually.
At the very end of this episode of Black Mirror, she's at a wedding and she's covered in crying makeup and she's going hysterical, and she ends up on stage at the wedding and she gives a speech and everyone is terrified of her. That is how I feel like I would be received by the audience if I were to go up there and try to be really, really hee-haw silly. So I just couldn't do that.
So since we're scoring things on this 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest score depending on the difficulty of the routine, I would say that Lynch's point about the officiant not wanting to make it about themselves is a 10 out of 10 point, Lynch. Congratulations. Here's your award.
Thank you.
Well, because it's true. Like, at the end of the day, the officiant is supposed to facilitate the most amazing experience about the bride and groom. Our officiant did a great job at that. She took it very seriously. She spent a lot of time on it, to the point where I actually am now embarrassed about how much more preparation she did than I did when I've officiated weddings. I think I did a pretty good job, but she was amazing. So my thought is, and the one caveat is that you guys thought of this and you're getting married, it sounded like in this email. So if that's what you want, great. Lynch, as the officiant, should not be making that decision or pushing for that or for anything.
Yeah.
He should just be doing what you want him to do. Now, that is the risk you run by doing that, is that suddenly now the wedding's no longer about you. But it sounds as if you guys are capable of partaking in the fun in some degree and also be dressed up insane. And then maybe it'll just be a good old time.
Yeah. If it's your wedding and that's what you want, do whatever you want.
Do whatever
Ask
you want.
whatever you want of anybody. I will,
to some degree.
to some degree.
Lynch, you're doing the ceremony naked.
Yeah. With a binky in your mouth.
Yes.
If that's what they want. But I would hope to not be officiating that
That's
wedding.
what they want.
I'd hope to not be officiating that wedding.
I would definitely decline.
Yeah.
If it started to get weird. But look, the right officiant's out there for you. Whatever you guys are smoking up there in Saskatchewan, I want some of it.
Yeah.
Let's go hang out in the mine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, don't forget to come see me and Lynch December 13th, New York Comedy Club, Stamford. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait. Bringing a couple other buddies too. Should be very, very fun. Can't wait for that. NotJulio.com for all my upcoming dates. By the time this episode's out, I may have some more stuff announced. Keep your eyes peeled for Alaska if you're up there. Got some more stuff. I expect to have DC and Charlotte in the late spring, early summer. Working on a couple other places as well. Look forward to seeing you there. Not Julio on Instagram, Not Julio G on Snap and TikTok. Follow my YouTube, subscribe, like every video, watch every single one of them. I promise you'll love them all. It's Not Julio on, I think it's youtube.com/Not Julio, but you should search for my name. Oops Podcast at Oops Podcast, oopspodcast@gmail.com. Buy some merch. It's the holiday season. We got all our classics up there. Lynch, what do you have to add?
Besides being with Giulio on the 13th of December, come tonight. I got a show at Arlene's Grocery. It's a free show, 6 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see you there. You can find out more info leading up to it and everything afterwards at Ryan is Really Polite on all social. Appreciate you guys. Should we ask them for something in the comments?
If you want, go ahead.
What would you have done differently in the coffee debacle with the stranger that knocked it over? And how many points would you give for that performance?